trustee sale. If you paid the money and the bank says you haven't paid the money, that could be a ground. If there is some sort of mistake, but a really bad mistake, for instance, they're auctioning off the wrong property, that's it. But really, the best way to avoid a foreclosure is to come up with the money. If you can't come up with the money, then foreclosure is the direction you're headed. Okay. Any questions about foreclosure?
If the person have a letter telling the homeowner to present on a foreclosure date, which is, let's say, like tomorrow, but there is an agent who's telling the homeowner, hey, don't go there, it's already a done deal, then what should the homeowner do really?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
I have a client who actually have a letter telling her to go to the court. Her house is being foreclosed.
A letter from whom?
From the city or from the government saying that,
Okay.
and then she is asking, okay, what should I do next? But there is another company agent telling her, don't go there. And so I said, oh, well, why don't you find a lawyer?
I'd strongly recommend that because it appears, first of all, the notice of neither the notice of default nor the notice of trustee shall actually come from the government. Okay, so that's a red flag. If instead it came from a trustee, that's different. Second, the agent, I don't know why the agent would be saying not to go to the trustee sale unless the borrower had no chance of purchasing from you, or first of all, there's nothing that prevents the borrower from going. Right? You can't prevent the borrower from going to sale. You also can't prevent the borrower from bidding on the property, and they may actually be able to bid less than they owe on the property. But I think really you need to talk to an attorney because that situation sounds fishy. I don't know why, one, the agent's giving the advice on the one hand. There may be a good reason for it. I don't know what that reason is. And two, the notice or the letter that the borrower got seems kind of fishy.
Yeah.
So without knowing more, I can't give you anything more specific, but I'd recommend talking to an attorney because it's really.
The homeowner should go to the trustee sales.
Not necessarily. If there's no chance of the borrower being able to do anything, i.e. purchase the property, then it's to a certain degree out of their hands. The property is, assuming that the lender and the trustee have done all that they're required to do, it's a pretty much done deal. And to that extent, I can see why the agent is saying that. And it may bring more heartache than it's worth because
she wanted to stay, but she didn't know how to do it. She wanted to stay. She has been there for 10 months.
It's a long time.
Only one way. Bring the money to cancel the foreclosure.
Isn't she has a right to maybe express her hardship to the lender because her husband had got a stroke, and then she lost her job. And I doubt
that's a good hardship. The difficulty I think I see is you're really running into a timing issue.
Yeah.
Assuming that she got a notice of the trustee's sale, then the clock is ticking. You really only have 3 weeks at most to do anything. And your right of reinstatement, your ability to repay the loan expires 5 days before the trustee's sale. Now, that's not to say that she can't say to the bank, look, bank, I want to postpone this. I want to try to do a short sale and maybe get you a little bit more money because of this hardship. And a stroke and a lost job, those are pretty convincing, assuming that she has very little income or assets aside from that.
Maybe I tell you after the meeting. I give you the phone number and
sure,
then
that's
yeah.
Fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't do that. if the bank forecloses and they come after my personal assets, this is always a big one. One, there are two main things you got to keep in mind. First, purchase money. If it's purchase money, then no. In the state of California, purchase money, they cannot come after you for your personal assets. Now that presumes that the property is, or the purchase money loan is secured by the property. Right? Their right is to go after the property, not after you. And if the property cannot, if you only have one lien on the property and that's solely your purchase money lien, all the bank can do is take the property. You can't come after you for anything. Okay? That's the first situation. The second situation is a non-judicial foreclosure. In a non-judicial foreclosure situation, they can't come after you for the balance either. Those are the situations in which they cannot come after you, and that's what's called non-recourse. The bank has no recourse except going after the property. On the other side, you have recourse loans. That's where the bank does have recourse against your personal assets. That situation applies to judicial foreclosures, where the bank decides to go through the whole rigmarole of going to court and spending the year to get a deed deficiency judgment against you. And the prime situation in which that would apply is that the property has lost a lot of value. There's a lot of money that they'd be waiving, and the borrower is still very salty. If this is but one of the borrower's many properties, and the borrower has a ton of money, then they're probably the bank's going to say, well, why don't we go after this person's other assets, put a lien on all his other buildings, and try to go after him for the, extra $3 million that we'd be losing in foreclosure. That's a reason why a bank might go to the judicial foreclosure. Again, it's rare, but it does happen. The other situation, aside from a judicial foreclosure, in which the debt is recourse, is non-purchase money. So, refinances, loan modifications, anything that's not used to purchase the property. I did a little bit of legal research when I was trying to figure out what statute specifically applies to this. And there's a specific provision of California law, California Code of Civil Procedure 580B. There is a school of thought that says that refis of purchase money are purchase money. There's another school of thought that says refis of purchase money are not purchase money because you're paying off the purchase money and putting it separately on the property. Now, there's no court, so there's no precedent. But all the sources I've found indicate that refis or loan modifications probably are recourse loans. Now, what does a recourse loan mean? It means that they can come after you for your personal assets. And if you have cars, boats, airplanes, other properties, gold, jewelry, antiques, art, that sort of thing, they can come after that and try to seize all of that in order to satisfy their judgment.
So maybe sell them first.
That's a possibility. That's a possibility. But then, two things. First, it could be construed as a fraudulent conveyance, a conveyance to defeat creditors. One. It could be construed as it could be interpreted by the bank as making a statement in favor of a judicial foreclosure. You got a big chunk of money right before this property went in foreclosure. We want to get that money out of it. So it's risky. If you're not in default, the bank has bank has no reason to think you're going to go into default, then you might try doing it. I mean, I can't, as an attorney, recommend that, but it's risky. That is the end of my presentation. I'm happy to stick around if you have any questions. You can raise them now, come up to me privately afterwards.